Johnson Street, Princeton. At Health First, your health is our first concern.
For delicious, authentic Mexican cuisine, head to La Potacina Mexican Restaurant in Princeton or in Marion. Maria's specials are a local favorite you're sure to love. Stop in for delicious lunch or dinner. La Potacina Mexican Restaurant is open 7 days a week, Monday through Thursday 11 to 9, Friday and Saturday 11 to 9:30, Sundays 11 to 9. And they offer lunch specials Monday through Friday 11 to 3. Be sure to like them on Facebook for updates and specials. La Potacina Mexican Restaurant in Princeton or Marion.
Here's a reminder from your Princeton Electric Plant Board. Meter tampering is dangerous. Tampering with an electric meter is not only dangerous, it is dishonest and against the law. Stealing electricity by tampering with an electric meter may result in your arrest and can even risk your life. Tampering with meters results in increased utility bills that everyone has to pay. If you see anyone tampering with an electric meter, call the Princeton Electric Plant Board right away at 270-365-2031. Princeton Electric Plant Board, Princeton's #1 energy source.
All right, we are back with Coffee Talk, and we're just going to get right on into it. We've got an event coming up real soon, the first part of June, and, I know little to nothing about ham radios, but Mike Taylor is with us, and he is going to talk to us just a little bit about the ham radio and about the Hamfest coming up, and it's not the kind of Hamfest that's making me hungry to think about. It's a different kind of Hamfest, right? Good morning, Mike.
Good morning to you.
I appreciate you coming in this morning. So tell me about Hamfest, first of all.
Well, Hamfest is a ham radio swap meet. They're held all across the country and around the world for ham operators or any kind of radio operators, CBers, or anyone that's interested in the hobby to come and bring their old stuff, their junk, if you will, and see if there's somebody else that might appreciate their stuff a little more than they needed at the time. It's just a big swap meet and a get-together, and around Kentucky it seems like a family reunion. We all talk to each other on specific times twice a day, and it's just like getting together with family.
Okay, so what is a ham radio?
Well, a ham radio is basically a unit that will transmit and receive on the ham band frequencies. Just like a CB radio, way back in the day, CB was big. It got a little bit out of hand, and a whole lot of people went from CB to ham, and there was a big boom then, but it's just two-way communication. A lot of people have mobiles, a lot of people have base stations, and that makes it pretty easy to talk without cell phones or other means between home and the car.
Huh. Okay. So, like I said, I don't know much. I mean, I know what a CB radio is. But when I hear that term, I think truckers.
Right.
So, breaker, whatever. I don't know. I just watch the movies. But anyway.
Breaker 19.
Yeah, 19. That's what it is. So, but I've never actually talked on one, I don't think.
Okay.
How does a ham radio differ from a CB? And
it's really the basic setup is basically the same. Ham radios, the FCC allows us to run 100 watts. That's a usual radio station, a barefoot radio, if you will, but they also allow 1,500 watt amplifiers. CB radios are only allowed, I think at the last publication of Part 97, only allowed 4 watts. So a ham radio is much more powerful, and you have to have a license from the FCC. You have to study and test and pass an exam. And there are 3 levels. There's a technician, a general class, and an extra class. So it's a little more complicated than just going out buying a CB radio and putting it in your car. You have to put out a whole lot of effort to pass these tests. You have to understand the basics of electricity and general knowledge is atmospheric conditions, and a whole lot of radio transmission is based on bounce off the atmosphere. The signal goes up, it bounces off of ionization in the atmosphere, and then comes back down somewhere, and it can bounce again. That's how you get the long distance, the DX transmissions, talking to Australia or Eastern, Western Europe, or anywhere in the world by bounces.
Wow, that's information I did not know. That's interesting.
It's illegal to talk on CB other than local. You're not supposed to be able to talk to California, if you will. But a lot of people do it, and that's part of the fun of that hobby too. Highly illegal, but they still do it.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But it is legal with ham, but not with CB.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Sure.
Now, so ham radio, is that just a hobby? I mean, what is the...
Basically starts out as a hobby, but there's much more to it when you get into public service. We back up the local entities of police, fire, the emergency operations center. If we get another ice storm and all the power goes down and the cell phones go out and there's no means to contact Frankfort and let them know we're in trouble down here, there's always ham radio, and most everybody uses battery power at some time or another, so we've always got backup. Electricity goes, we've still got backup, and it's pretty common knowledge that Caldwell County was one of the first, if not the first, to get help. We were the first to get through to Frankfort and tell them, hey, we got a problem here, to say the least. And we were the first down here because of ham radio operators that were able to make the contacts. And it wasn't straight through to Frankfort. It went from a relay down into Tennessee and then back to Frankfort. So there is an association, Amateur Radio Relay League, ARRL, that it basically, that's how you got across the country back in the day. A lot of it started out with phone calls from servicemen. They would call, get on the phone, it would transfer to ham radio operators around the world, and the calls would come back, a radio relay league kind of thing. And they're still active, and our voice in Washington, as it were, to keep our frequencies, to keep our bands, and not let it get sold off to the companies that want to use the frequencies for their benefit, their communications, and so on.
So who has been responsible for keeping ham radio alive in our area?
Well, just the amateurs themselves. I have been in some sort of leadership position since the 90s, off and on. I'm currently just a member. I've been president many years for the club, but sometimes, just with anything, if you get in the groove and stay there too long, it becomes a rut. So I wanted to just be a member for a while and let some of the other folks take the leadership position. But there's a lot to do on the radio. There's also a lot to do with Facebook. We have a nice little spot on Facebook, if you're interested, the Princeton Ham Radio Club on Facebook. And we have a website also, w4kbl.org. And there's all kinds of links to information and pictures of the club's events for years and years now. We've been pretty active with the cameras and trying to get that out to the public to show what we do. The biggest participation, though, is with the MCOMS, emergency comm system. We have a mobile outfit that's outfitted with radio gear, and we practice with that from time to time, and we set up for Winter Field Day back at the end of January this year. You might have seen us down on the Butler Complex, the old bus parking lot. Stayed out all night and made contacts around the country. But there's there's things for everybody in ham radio. There's voice, there's code. Morse code still is active but not required for the test. There's digital communications, stuff like email that goes over radio. all kinds of aspects that there's something for everybody in ham radio.
That is so interesting. I wish we had more time. I wish we could, just spend the rest of the hour talking about ham radio, but unfortunately, we're not where we can do that. Remind me again when Hamfest is.
All right. Coming up June the 1st is the 8th annual Princeton, Kentucky Hamfest. It'll be held at the Fire Training Center, just a little past Walmart, up on the hill on the left as you're going toward the Lakeland area. It will cost $5 to get in, which is cheap for Hamfest. When you get into the bigger ones that they're $8 or $10 or $20 or $30 for the weekend, it gets fairly expensive, but we're still at $5 to get in, and no charge for the tables. If you had something ham radio related that you were interested in selling, no charge for the tables. Most fests cost at least $5 to $10 for a table. So we're cheap. We want to get the participation. We want everybody in Western Kentucky to come see us for the Hamfest.
And if we have any questions, who can we call?
You can call me, Mike Taylor, at 270-963-5350, or you could call Joey McCaslin, who is the director of the EOC here. Joey is a ham and has been for a lot of years, and you can get some information from him. And I don't know that number. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, Mike, I appreciate your time this morning. We'll have to have you back and maybe get a little more deeper into ham radio. Sure. Because that was a lot of information packed into a little amount of time, and I'm sure you didn't even scratch the surface, did you?
No. And sorry if I rambled on at any points and left the main track of thought.
Absolutely not. Nope. Everything you said was where I wanted to go. That was really interesting. So, like I said, I hate to even say let's wrap it up, but unfortunately, we are at that point.
All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity to get our hobby out in front of the public and let them know what's going on June the 1st.
Yep, June the 1st. Okay. Mike Taylor, Coffee Talk. You've been listening to Coffee Talk on WPKY.
Serving Caldwell County since 1950. We're 1580, 103.3 WPKY Princeton.